It was like any other morning. In the sunny Spanish seaside resort of Fuengirola, some stray dogs and cats mused around the dimly lit streets. Council workers were beginning their shifts, ensuring cobbled side streets remained free of litter and leaves. The occupier of apartment number 3 was soon to be ordered to take down a camera that hung in front of the 3-bedroom penthouse flat. Community managers had been asked to inform the tenants inside that it was illegal to have the camera pointing out into the street and other areas used by the neighbors. The camera was supposed to tell those inside who was outside if anyone tried to enter the main entrance. However, it failed to alert them to the well-planned police operation that was now gathering on the street and rapidly progressing up toward the front door. A helicopter that was using an infrared camera caught the exact moment cops entered the property at dawn, smashing down a gate and the front door to the flat before surrounding their target at gunpoint. The speed and efficiency of the police operation meant some residents at the apartment block were unaware of the arrests until several days later. This was the home of Johnny Morrissey, the suspected chief money launderer for the Kinahan crime cartel. On the 11th of April 2022, Morrissey was one of 7 people, including Christopher Kinahan Sr. and his son Daniel, who were hit with sanctions by the US Department of the Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control.
In a significant tightening of the net on Ireland's most notorious organised crime gang, US authorities have offered a $5 million reward for information leading to the arrest of 3 senior Kinahans. The unprecedented joint action imposes sanctions on Christy Sr., Daniel and Christopher Jr. Kinahan, described by US authorities as being at the apex of a network estimated to be worth more than €1 billion.
The statement said, John Morrissey has worked for the Kinahan organized crime group for several years, including as an enforcer, and facilitates international drug shipments for the organization from South America. John Morrissey is also involved in money laundering. La Guardia Civil, who led the operation against Morrissey through its elite UCO unit with support from Angarda Síochána, Britain's national crime agency, and the powerful US DEA law enforcement agency, say they believe he allegedly helped crime gangs launder more than €200 million in the 18 months their investigation lasted. So, how did this relatively unknown individual end up becoming one of the underworld's biggest money launderers and end up being publicly outed by the United States of America? Morrissey came from humble beginnings. He grew up in the Rochdale area of Manchester and had a thick Mancunian accent. He left school at 15 and worked as a bricklayer. He appeared in Ireland during the mid-1990s in the seaside town of Kinsale in West Cork. Kinsale was a cosmopolitan mix of wealthy transients, sailors down from the city, a smattering of poets and writers, and the locals who put up with it all. It was a place where Morrissey thought he would fit right in. He renovated a 2-story building on a typically narrow street behind the waterfront and planned to open a restaurant. He spared no expense in kitting it out and staffing it. Rumour had it that he spent €600,000, the price of 3 houses at the time. He opened Annalise as a high-end restaurant, which suited the town's reputation as the gourmet capital of Ireland. His lavish spending and rumours that he was a British gangland hitman before his move to Ireland quickly brought him to the attention of the IRA, even before Gardaí had built up their own dossier on him. This led to Morrissey paying tens of thousands of pounds to the provisional IRA in protection money. Sources claim that a senior IRA figure, who has been named as one of the organisers of the Birmingham pub bombings of 1974, was the man who collected the cash from the suspected cartel money launderer. Morrissey was part of a wave of expat criminals who flocked to Ireland around this time as they saw the country as a soft touch when it came to criminality. It was attractive to criminals due to the close proximity to England, lack of language barrier, and shady characters generally had a comfortable lifestyle without getting too much hassle from authorities. It was claimed Morrissey was buying cocaine from Russian gangs who organised shipments to be dropped off the Irish coast, where he retrieved it for distribution in the UK and Ireland.
And part of Kerry, a little part of Clare, has now become established as the headquarters of international drug smuggling in Europe.
One of the reasons why I was so anxious should be highlighted because nothing is being done about it.
The formation of the Criminal Assets Bureau in 1996 dealt a hammer blow to the Irish underworld. When they made inquiries with Interpol as to Morrissey's background, they were stunned to discover such a dangerous criminal in their midst and set up a series of raids. Officers found a handgun, half a kilo of cocaine, and cash when they carried out a series of raids at properties linked to Morrissey in County Cork. The haul also included Cartier jewelry he was using to pay the Russians, who at the time still had trouble getting hold of designer goods amid currency fluctuations as they sought to flaunt their power and wealth. The Irish passport holder travelled to Russia shortly after the raids, and when he failed to pay his outstanding bill, the gangsters broke his arms and legs. Until that point, the gang openly bought businesses and properties and had bank accounts in their own names, which almost overnight became the target of CAB, whose officers were quick to use their new powers. By December 1997, he had been served with a tax demand for more than €100,000. His property was searched, and valuable assets including cars and jewelry worth several €100,000 were frozen. He was obviously smarting from the rap, and cops soon received intelligence that he planned to assassinate the man whose signature appeared on that tax demand on behalf of the state, the CAB's first legal officer and well-known Cork solicitor, Barry Galvin. Irish police foiled the murder plot. Morrissey's cover as a respectable restaurateur was blown, and he fled to Spain. Little is known about his movements in the early 2000s. Police forces across Europe weren't known for their cooperation, and therefore organized crime gangs operated almost freely under their noses. Almost a decade later, this began to change. 2008 saw the undertaking of Operation Shovel, when police in Spain, the United Kingdom, Ireland and Belgium teamed up to investigate the Kinahan cartel. The attention from police seemed to spook Morrissey. In an apparent move to make some legitimate income in 2009, he flew to Panama to explore the possibility of initiating an internet business, according to leaked files of Mossack Fonseca, the law firm whose internal records sparked the Panama Papers investigation. The idea was unconventional, to say the least. The ratbook.com had been intended for subscribers to sign up to find out if people with criminal convictions lived in their neighborhoods. However, the website was only active online for a year. Leaked emails show Mossack Fonseca's lawyers and managers discussing how best to help Morrissey and his partner, Glenn Patrick Cunningham, set up bank accounts for processing subscription payments to the internet site through a shell company. A complication emerged. The Panamanian bank, Tower Bank, required that the owners of such accounts maintain a physical office in Panama. Morrissey balked at the cost, complaining that it made no sense to pay for a ghost office. It's not clear how or whether the matter was resolved, or if an account was ever opened. As the years passed, Morrissey became a close ally of Daniel Kinahan and climbed the ladder within the cartel. He was also a pal of Dublin gangster David Douglas, who was killed on Freddie Thompson's orders in 2016 and has been often in the company of armed robber Kevin Lynch. Morrissey has, until now, remained a step ahead of the law, and although the chief suspect for several unsolved murders in the UK, he has avoided serious criminal convictions. He had become a trusted lieutenant and played a major role when it came to hiding illicit funds. He was a master at his craft, or so he thought. A complex network of companies was set up over a long period of time, one of which was Nero Drinks, which was registered to Nicola Morrissey at an address in Glasgow.
Today it's been the main sponsor against Rangers. Just tell me a little bit more about Nero Vodka.
Well, Nero Vodka is a 100% British product. It's made from potatoes. It's gluten-free. We have no added, anything artificial is not added to the vodka. It's made in our distillery down in London, all British, and owned by us.
That network of companies was publicly exposed in the most brutal fashion in April 2022, when the US Treasury sensationally laid out part of the Kinahan laundering network. The companies that the US named were Dukashu General Trading LLC, based in the UAE, is operated and controlled by Daniel Kinahan. Hopo Sports LLC, based in the UAE, operated and controlled by Ian Thomas Dixon, and Nero Drinks, based in Malaga, Spain and Glasgow, Scotland, and is operated and controlled by John Morrissey. The statement continued. John Morrissey, who outwardly serves as the Nero Drinks brand ambassador, is heavily invested in Nero Drinks and has given a significant portion of the business to Daniel Kinahan to compensate for shipments of drugs seized by law enforcement. The brand had made some serious inroads before the US Treasury revealed its links to organized crime. Nero had made itself the preferred vodka brand in many of Spain's top venues. The Morrisseys forged collaborations with exclusive beachfront bars and restaurants who advertised expensive pool parties in association with the drink. The brand had also made its way into the VIP scene in Malaga, with the drink being used as the premium vodka in many of the VIP sunbed lounges, often frequented by Premier League footballers. Nero Vodka had positioned itself as Malaga's premium drink and tried to hide in plain sight. However, once Nero was sanctioned by the US, venues were quick to disassociate themselves from the brand. Morrissey and his wife Nicola like to consider themselves the coolest couple in town. They rubbed shoulders with various celebrities and wealthy socialites in the Costa del Sol, portraying themselves as the successful owners of a premium drinks brand. However, at the same time, they lived a double life as some of Europe's biggest money launderers. The gangland fixer used unwitting celebrities to promote his vodka business to help legitimize its image and stay under the radar from authorities. In one clip from 2019, actor Will Mellor promotes a party that is being sponsored by Nero vodka. In another clip, Morrissey plays with the son of heavyweight boxing champion Tyson Fury in the MTK gym, owned at the time by Daniel Kinahan. One lavish party held in Puerto Banús to launch the brand was attended by a host of Z-list celebrities, including reality TV star Lena Hodgkins and Irish models Cindy Kafoya and Virginia Macari. Morrissey also sponsored the premiere of The Rise of the Foot Soldiers 4 movie, which was held in Marbella.
We've got to say, just before we get started, a special thanks to all our sponsors, because without you, we wouldn't be here. So, Johnny Morrissey and Nicola Morrissey, they kindly sponsored the Nero.
There is certainly no suggestion anyone in the promotions knew of Morrissey's criminal activities. Instead, the marketing strategy formed part of his attempt to portray himself as a legitimate businessman.
I have to say, it's one of the most beautiful restaurants I've seen, mate. The view, the lighting, the atmosphere, it's just beautiful.
They do the Nero vodka.
Sorry to interrupt, Johnny, but I've been here 4 days. Everywhere it's got Nero vodka. Where isn't it?
He was even trying to infiltrate the top level of the Scottish football pyramid. When ex-crime reporter turned Scottish MSP Russell Findlay appeared on the popular podcast Crime World, he suggested that criminals had wormed their way into elite sport.
We at least one club in Scotland that I believe is effectively under the direction of organised crime.
It is thought his comments may refer to a 5-year sponsorship deal between Hamilton Academical and Nero Vodka that was announced in 2019. Hamilton Chief Executive Colin McGowan told the local press at the time, "We are absolutely delighted to unveil our new partners, Nero Vodka, in a deal that will support our youth footballing setup and our much-loved Blameless charity, set up to help and support children and families across Lanarkshire who have been affected by addiction. Nicola and Johnny Morrissey are fantastic advocates for responsible drinking through their company, and we are delighted to welcome them on board at Hamilton Academical Football Club." The Kinahan group is said to be less than impressed at Morrissey for going against their very specific instructions on how to launder their drug money. Traditionally, the gang has done so through businesses such as shops, bars, nightclubs, motorways, and property firms. A Guardia civil insider explained to news outlet The Olive Press how suspicions were raised about Morrissey and his wife Nicola back in 2021. The officer revealed he and his wife were spending a lot of money around the Costa del Sol, but their vodka company did not make a lot of profit. Despite this, the brand was always sponsoring big events in the south of Spain. Detectives have said that the starting point of the investigation had been the seizure of 200 kilograms of cocaine and nearly €500,000 in cash hidden in vehicles with sophisticated concealment systems, which took place earlier this year. As well as the 3 arrests in Spain, a former Costa del Sol-based Irish expat was held in the UK. According to the authorities in Spain, almost a dozen searches of residential and business premises took place across Spain and Britain, including 2 places in Glasgow thought to be related to Nero drinks and one in Haywood, Rochdale. Detectives say the laundered cash had not been physically moved out of Spain. Instead, it was spread throughout the world using the notorious underground money transfer system, hawala. Hawala is a rapid and efficient monetary transfer system that operates across national boundaries. Although the system is relatively unusual within Western nations, hawala has thrived in the Middle East and South Asia for hundreds of years, beginning as early as the 12th century. In modern Western Europe, hawala is often frowned upon for facilitating money laundering and other criminal activity. While the system has certainly been used in that way, some third world nations such as Afghanistan depend heavily on the system for normal economic activity. The novelty of hawala is that the entire system is built on trust and self-regulation rather than governmental coercion. This characteristic enables hawala to function where the government is unstable or where legitimate banking systems are inefficient and unreliable. Organizationally, hawala exists as an international system of trusted brokers, or hawaladars. Individual hawaladars operate independently, yet cooperate with other hawaladars to transfer money between clients. They earn profit by taking a percentage of each transfer as a commission for their services. While not inherently inherently criminal, hawala functions extraordinarily well as a system for illicit monetary transactions. Because hawaladars keep their ledgers independently and informally, there is no central record of transactions between customers. Additionally, many hawaladars keep their records in the form of cryptic, handwritten notes and do not save the records permanently after transactions are completed. Since the hawaladars generally do not transfer any money through official channels even among themselves, it is difficult to detect how much money has been moved via hawala. The use of passwords for transmission to recipients means that the hawaladars do not even need to know what person or organization is receiving the money. Spanish police are convinced that Morrissey knew his days of freedom were nearing their end. After his outing as an alleged key member of the cartel, he held an annual birthday bash every December to celebrate his birthday. Only this year, he surprised everyone by hosting it in August. He was arrested just a month later. At 62 years of age, Morrissey knows he may well spend the rest of his days in prison. He is currently on remand in the notorious Aljurín de la Torre prison, where he may spend up to 2 years awaiting trial. He also faces the possibility of being extradited to the US, where penalties for money laundering are extremely harsh. Their supermax prisons are a world away from the cushy numbers in Spain and Ireland. The underworld is watching on with undoubted concern at whether Morrissey stays quiet or looks to cut a deal with authorities and turn on his associates. Thank you for watching. We would really appreciate it if you subscribe to OCG TV and turned your notifications on. It really helps us produce more content for you to enjoy.